This is Today on eNCA, DSTV channel 403. A very good afternoon to you all. I'm Ropua Madzena, and we begin with water issues this hour, where Deputy Human Settlements, Water and Sanitation Minister David Mahlobo is attending the Cairo Water Week, which kicks off tomorrow. This year's conference is focused on innovative solutions for sustainable water management. One of these is water desalination for the African region, while a largely untapped water source that could increase supply to areas suffering from dry spells. Large parts of the country are currently in the grip of extended water shortages. He joins us this hour for more. A very good afternoon to you, Deputy Minister, and thank you very much for joining us. As South Africa, what exactly is the message that we are hoping to convey when it comes to water management, but also innovation around water supply and sustainability in South Africa?
We are very pleased that the government of Egypt has invited us to join them to discuss issues of water, because water knows no boundaries, it knows no ideology. And the Cairo Water Week has become one of the most important international forums. We are here under the theme Action on Water Adaptation for Sustainability, wherein we shall share our own experiences around how to deal with issues of provision of water to many of the South Africans that had no water, and how are we dealing with our own current challenges, because we're a water-scarce country, in the main to say where water will come from. In an instance where climate change is here, especially the dry seasons. But at the very same time, we'll also be drawing lessons, especially from Egypt and other countries that are living in areas that are dry, and they are dependent on technologies like desalination. The European Union will be here, and members of BRICS will also be here, where we shall share our own experiences, how utilities and private sector have come on board to support the initiatives of providing water. On our own front, we know that South Africa, in as much as it's a water-scarce country, it will not run out of water. But the biggest problems we'll have, it will be the issue that the water quality will have deteriorated in such a way that the water will not be fit for use. Therefore, the issue of water reclamation, the issues of reuse of wastewater, the mine water, and the technologies that are being used in terms of producing either energy, whether fertilizers and so forth, will do that. Then there's an issue of desalination. We shall learn from these other countries here, how are they using desalination, especially at home, there are desalination plants. But our biggest problem is issues that the technology is very expensive. The disposal of brine is also very problematic in terms of environment. And then the issues of energy shortfalls on how we should do this. But there's an issue of a possibility of issues of funding. One of the biggest problems in South Africa and elsewhere, how do we fund infrastructure? What will be the role of government of funding? But at the very same time, private sector and other funding institutions that are available, how can they play their part? There are many examples at home where we are looking at private utilities without privatizing water, but also ensuring that the water, in terms of price, it remains affordable for our people.
Deputy Minister, you mentioned a very important point around the cost of the different innovations, particularly when it comes to desalination. So obviously a big message here that you take as South Africa is investment in our water infrastructure, but also on the innovative ways to have water as a water scarce country. And it's going to be a difficult task, I'm sure, DM, because you're also dealing with issues of climate change and how that's had an impact of water-heavy sectors like agriculture, as an example. So it's about addressing issues for the entire value chain where water is involved here, and that, no doubt, is a difficult task.
We shall be able to indicate that the issues of water conservation and demand management is one of the most important tools about the management of the water system. In our own country, we should spend a lot of time looking at the issues that we lose a lot of water. And when we use a lot of water, the problem is the issue of investment in infrastructure. And the investment infrastructure, whether in terms of bulk and reticulation, there is a bigger space wherein government, if it can't have the resources it requires, we can be in a position to use our own water boards on the basis of their capability in terms of technical, also in terms of financial capability and the balance sheet. That's what we'll look at in such a way that water boards can now start to build, operate, and transfer those assets to municipalities at a particular point, but at the very same time ensure that there's a revenue enhancement component. But then there is also a space refuel around the issues of private sector involvement, around the issues of concessions. You look in Mpumalanga as an example, in Nelspruit, in Bombela, you have your Silulumanzi there. The Silulumanzi is managing the water system in entirety, and people are billed by them, and that's not a problem. But we are also looking at Johannesburg Water, which is an entity of municipality. Those are some of the options that we could be able to look at. And concession can also mean that where municipalities don't have the infrastructure, they can come in this private sector, invest on infrastructure in terms of planning, design, the execution itself. Then you know that you have an asset. But the state must always be responsible to ensure that the poor are cushioned. That's why there's a security component in terms of free basic water, but also the issues of water tariffs, they must be managed properly. In our department, we're going to explore the issues of private sector investment in terms of independent producers for water in the area of using desalination, where they could be able to come in, they treat the water to the highest standard, then they are able to sell it. And government can then enter into a water purchase agreement or off-take agreements so that we can provide water for all these particular sectors, because our investment in infrastructure, in as much as we've done well over the last 30 years, but the speed at which the growth of the population, the issues of migration, and the growth of the economy, there are communities, if we don't go through this route, they will not receive water for the next many, many years to come. Therefore, the issues of financial partnerships, whether triple Ps, whether what the president calls a social component, is a way to go. And we'll engage with business here from all the countries around the world that there is an opportunity to invest in South Africa, but there are also South African entities that we can be able to demonstrate and showcase to the world, like Rand Water, Umgeni Water, and other entities that these countries, they can draw lessons from them.
No, absolutely. Thank you very much for giving us your time, and do enjoy Cairo. And I do hope that you get an opportunity to watch the all-important box game this evening, Deputy Minister. Do you have a message for the guys as they head to the pitch to participate in that game that's got everybody quite anxious?
Our message, we have a strong belief in them, and led by His Excellency President Ramaphosa, we know they will bring this trophy back home, and it will actually reignite and lift our spirit. That is what we are looking for, and we'll continue to put them in our prayers, and we'll be celebrating their victory, because their victory is not only for their families, it will be for ourselves as a country, but it also be the victory for the African continent. Yeah. We say, go Boke, go Boke.
Go Boke indeed. DM, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. That is Deputy Human Settlements, Water and Sanitation Minister David Mahlobo.